blessing to my family and to me especially. God has really been working through you in amazing ways, and that's kind of the reason I feel like I can stand here today and share with you an incredible opportunity that I've had presented to me that I've decided to participate in this summer. So, what do you think of when you think of Madagascar? There's obviously the movie that's the response I get most, move it, like the lemurs that are jumping around. And then some people think of the Busa, if you're really educated. I only get that response once or twice, but it's kind of like a dog-like animal that lives there. Almost always, they see the island as some sort of paradise, but I think rarely understand what the people of that nation really live like. And the island that we often think of as paradise, the inhabitants of Madagascar, and here, next slide. Well, one, malaria, the leading cause of death in Madagascar. Around 1/10 of the nation has this disease. Poverty. Around 61% of the nation makes less than $1 each day. Political unrest. So the recent military coup, actually, that occurred just demonstrates this political instability in their government. And also early death. Death in Madagascar comes on average 20 years before the average American dies. So these really shocking conditions were part of how God brought me out of my comfort zone to serve on a missions trip to Madagascar this summer. The trip will be about 2 months long, with the first 2 weeks being spent at a sort of boot camp where we'll learn the basic skills necessary to live in Madagascar and go on this trip. Conducted by Teen Missions International, a non-denominational organization. The missions trip will focus on reaching out to the children in southern Madagascar by building a schoolhouse and administering to them through dramas and puppets and evangelism. However, before I can go on this once-in-a-lifetime experience, I'm really going to need your help, specifically through, one, your prayers and also your generosity finance-wise. First, I would request that you pray for, next slide. One, my spiritual growth. This trip is obviously for serving others, but it should also build faith and love for the Lord so that I can grow in my personal relationship with Jesus. Secondly, good health. In Madagascar, malaria, along with other diseases, is rampant. So just pray that I would be able to maintain good health and that God would protect me from sickness. Third, travel and safety. I will be flying all around the world, from California to Europe to Africa. So just pray that God will protect me. For my burden as a missionary, pray that really as I'm there, I won't disgrace my King, but I'll make Christ the center of the reason that I'm there and not make it just about the construction. It's really about my Lord. So, fifth, energy. The building project is going to be 8 hours a day. Building the schoolhouse is going to take a lot of work and energy. Just pray that God will be able to maintain that in me. And sixth, financial support. In order to go on this once-in-a-lifetime experience, I'm actually going to have to raise $5,000 by May 15th. So I need this church's help so that I can go on this trip. As of now, I have raised a little more than 1/10 of that amount. Just please pray that I will be able to raise the money necessary. The second thing I would ask of you is to please consider donating to my trip this summer. If you feel God is inclining you to support me like this, I would like to meet and talk with you as soon as possible, perhaps maybe during the break or after church, just so that I could explain how the donation process works. I only have a little more time to pray for my trip, to pay for my trip to Madagascar, and I will need your help. So finally, I would just like to address what would happen as a direct result of your generosity and prayer and money, if I can go on. Next slide. First, I would just, first what would be able to happen, hopefully, is spiritual growth. My dad, who actually once went on a missions trip to Papua New Guinea with the same organization, can attest to this fact. The rigorous schedule of prayer and Bible study, along with the physical work, helps maintain good health spiritually and physically. So, secondly, the people of Madagascar will be able to profit. By building a schoolhouse for the children and, more importantly, witnessing to them, we can change their entire world, I believe. And finally, the Lord's work will be furthered. Jesus said, "Go and make disciples of all nations." This mission trip can serve as God's tool to bring many to Him. So for these reasons, I would urge you to prayerfully consider supporting my missions trip this summer. Thank you, and God bless you.